with a wife, meaning a woman
Hello,
who was
hello.
with their man, a man meaning
Welcome. Let's start TikTok too. Today is an interesting subject, interesting and close to heart subject. Let me know whether you can hear me. Okay, so today we're talking about guilt. It's a very interesting subject, very close to my heart subject. Why? Because as everybody, I think, as everybody who I know, I was actually I felt guilty my whole life for a lot of things, and this subject came up again when I was traveling last year, and I saw, especially in Europe, how many people are like drowning in guilt for I'm not sure what reason, honestly. And when I thought that I am extremely like feeling guilt all the time, I was mistaken. There are people who are even more in guilt, and guilt is a slow poison that's basically just holding you down and doesn't allow you to develop. I will give you my examples, and I will tell you how to get rid of guilt, as everybody should get rid of guilt. If you know me, if you ever worked with me, you know how my relationship to guilt. If with sugar I have this kind of hostile relationship, then with guilt I have a complete open full force war, because this is something that I don't tolerate in my life, and I also don't allow my clients to tolerate it as well. No guilt. This is my policy, absolutely, and I will explain you why. From an energetic standpoint, guilt is phony. It's something not real. And some people spend their whole lives just drowning themselves in something that is not real. Just imagine um, how how unreal it is and how wrong it is. So, anyways, but I want to. So, guilt is basically sabotaging your progress. You won't be able to progress as much as you have the potential to kind of, if you have guilt. And you probably know a lot of those people who, because of their guilt, they just stagnant. They're staying in their life. They're not moving nowhere because of that guilt. Now, I'm a Reiki master, so you can believe me when I tell you there is really nobody else but you in this reality. Other people are just helping you to develop and to keep you sane. Otherwise, how are you going to develop yourself if there is really, if you don't see nobody, right? How are you going to feel? How are you going to feel intimate and feminine if there is no man in your life? So we need people, but there is really nobody. Now, since you live in with yourself and you're guilting yourself for doing something wrong, I mean, just imagine how unrealistic it is. Basically, everything is happening in your head. Everything, all this guilt, kind of blaming yourself for everything, is just happening in the head. It's not happening in the reality. And I started thinking about that a long time ago when I was already a second degree Reiki practitioner. And one of our teachers told us, so basically, you get punished only for what you believe you're supposed to get punished for. If you don't feel guilt, even if you do the worst things that our society considers worse, you can free yourself if you believe that you're not guilty. And you probably remember that OG Simpson kind of case where I think he killed his wife and her lover, and he basically was acquitted. He was not found guilty because he believed that he was not guilty. I don't know what he believed. I mean, I never spoke to the guy, but I assume so. And you probably know that there are a lot of people, at least when I was growing up, we had a lot of people that were upcoming. They were becoming wealthy, and everybody was waiting for some kind of karma to kind of to punish them, but they were never getting punished. They were just thriving and striving. Why? Because they didn't feel guilty. They felt like it all belonged to them. So what I want to say is that guilt is really just something in your head that could be removed, and once you remove it, it will propel you fast. I will tell you how it affected my life. It did affect a lot my life. Good morning, Helena. But just recently, so last October, I felt guilty about something. I believed I wronged somebody. And I just had this guilt because I didn't know how to fix it. So I held this nagging guilt, like little by little, like maybe for 2 weeks on. And then after those 2 weeks, I'm like, I know that I need to get rid of guilt because guilt inside creates punishment outside. So I knew that I need to stop it. I needed to come to some kind of solution with myself. But I couldn't find a solution. So for 2 weeks, I was just basically in this guilt, in this trap of guilt by myself. And this is what happened. So I have courses, right? I have two courses, and if you didn't took them, take them. But my rating was always like excellent, 5 stars. But then there was this person, some woman, and she bought my course and she gave me zero stars rating. And I don't know why, because she didn't listen to 1 minute of the course. She never listened to anything. I offered her to the refund, but she basically, I assume she did it because somebody either asked her, or maybe I don't know who she is, honestly. But you see, what I want to say is that I felt the guilty and the punishment came. Now my rating is 4.5, which is still good, but I don't understand why somebody who never even listened to me would give me something like that. So you see, I got the punishment for the guilt that I felt inside. So that's why I'm telling you, guilt is holding you down. Guilt will never help you to progress. Guilt holds you inside your reality right now. Guilt is your strict parent. So how does it start? It starts with the in childhood, when your parents start putting guilt on you and trying to control you. So basically, your outside parents are the reflection of your inner parent inside of you. Now, if you have a very strict inner parent, for example, you have a lot of Saturn in your chart. Like, for example, maybe you have a lot of Capricornian planets. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, so your parents will be kind of stricter than maybe my parents, because I don't have that much Capricornian energy in me. So, anyways, but this is what happens. So parents outside are a reflection of the parent inside, and the parents outside, they start controlling you through putting guilt. For example, you're eating the cookies, and your parent is like, "Oh, you're so greedy! You didn't give me any." Now you're feeling guilty. You didn't even know you were supposed to give. You are not. You don't understand why couldn't they get themselves cookies? Out of nowhere you started feeling guilt, you see. Or maybe like in my childhood, I remember there were always these people that wanted to hug, to some these old ladies. I didn't know who they were, but they always wanted to touch me and everything, like in a good way. And I didn't really like that, but I was always blamed, like they would say, "Oh, you make me so sad, you don't want to hug me." And this puts guilt on me, on the child. If you were ever a child, I'm sure your parents were putting some kind of guilt on you. Either, oh, you made your mom upset, you didn't do this, or like you have a bad marks in school, you're not a good child or something. So guilt, especially in my generation, millennials, it was like just a thing. Everybody was getting guilted, and we grew up with it. Now we grew up, right, and we start living with it. So um, uh, also, I wanted to mention, if you have Sun and Moon opposition, you probably will have a strict parents too, and a lot of guilt in your life. That would be something for sure. So be mindful of that. Now, when you were a child, right? So basically, when you were a child, why the guilt generates punishment? When you were a child, you knew, if I will break this glass, my parents will be probably upset and they will punish me somehow. Not necessarily like something like hitting or something like that. My parents never really raised a voice even to me, not even. But the punishment could be different. Could be silent treatment. Could be like strict looks, like my mom would do, or something like that. So you do something bad, I'll break this glass, and then I will get some kind of punishment from my parents. You see, the cycle is closed. I did something bad, I got the punishment, the cycle closed. Or I don't know, I pushed somebody, or I did some kind of misbehaved in school. I got the punishment in school. I got the punishment at home. The cycle is closed. Now we're grown up now, and there is no. Our parents don't really have that power over us. At least we think like that. So there is nobody who will punish us. So I might break the glass, but there is nobody who will punish me. So the cycle is not closed. You see, I inside feel like I did something bad, but there is no punishment. So it's like my inner child is waiting for the punishment, and that punishment will come, but not in the form of your mom being angry and shouting at you, but maybe in the form of, I don't know, they will shut down your water for a couple of days or something. So something that has to make your life unpleasant. And the more of those tags you have, those hooks that keeping you on a guilt kind of platform, right? The more you basically live in your life waiting for punishment. You see, and then when the punishment comes, you happy because it balances you. Now the cycle is closed. When you broke the glass, the cycle was half closed, open and not closed, and you were waiting for the cycle to close because it's basically, it's hanging there, and you need to get some punished. It's a pattern. You see a pattern from childhood. When you were a little child and you were constantly punished, your parents taught you that to expect the punishment. Honestly, if you have kids, don't put any kind of guilt on them. Let them do whatever. You will make their life much easier. And if you think that if I will never put any kind of guilt on my child, he will just grow up a selfish or whatever kind of being. It's not true. That the child will be not selfish. The child will be loving. Will believe that he or she is loved and will give love to others. Living in guilt will not do good to nobody, honestly. So that's what happened. Usually it happens because you have an inner parent inside. An inner parent's job is to protect you. Inner child is to explore, to expand you. Inner parent is to protect. Remember, we all have a mission. Our higher self, our inner adult, is basically has a mission to progress, to develop. We have the inner child that's excited about it, that is doing all that, and then we have inner parent that's guiding to make sure that the inner child will not do something silly and unalive itself or something like that. So, but that inner parent should not have that much power over you, not over a broken glass. You see, it shouldn't. The broken glass is not a threat to you any longer. It's not. So when you were little and you broke a glass, maybe it was like a favorite glass of your mom, or maybe it was I don't know, family heirloom or something. I understand, but right now, I mean, you can buy another glass. It's not not a big deal, and it's not a threat. So you should not feel guilty over such trivial matters. But it's a pattern again. I'm telling you, and we will get rid of them. Now, punishment, as I said, doesn't have to be physical. It could be emotional, like silent treatment or look of disappointment in your parents' eyes. I already did that. So, anyways, now, where can you like, where is the guilt coming from? The guilt in our lives, we're grown ups, is coming from what we do to ourselves. So, for example, you go in with the girls for the girls' night out, and you had a couple of extra drinks that you shouldn't have, and now you're feeling absolute guilt for drinking, and you know that you're going to be hangover, and you know that you will feel not so good tomorrow. So you're guilting yourself for those drinks. You see, it seems like very trivial. I mean, you went out, you had drinks, you okay, so that's you will deal with that tomorrow. You don't need to kind of to feel guilt, but you do. You see, you do feel guilt, and the punishment comes. And the punishment how will come? Maybe in the form of hangover, maybe in something else. Notice how when you're young and you're drinking, you never feel guilt, and you hardly ever get hangovers. I think I start getting hangovers when I start regretting drinking. That's why I quit for different reasons, but for the most part, that's what was happening. So guilt, you will be surprised, but guilt comes could be very very trivial things. Like for example, you spend 2 hours scrolling on TikTok. Now you're feeling guilty. Now you need to get the punishment. You see, it's like a broken circle that you run around. You're not progressing. You just run like a dog behind its tail. you guilting yourself, you punishing yourself, guilting yourself, punishing yourself. Where is the progress in this? There is no progress, you see. That's why when I work with my clients, I always tell them, no guilt, do whatever you want to do as long as you don't feel guilt. And I will get to the steps of how you will do. So while you are in this circle of running around the guilt punishment, you basically just stagnant. You're staying and you're not moving away. And this is the pattern that came from childhood. But at that time, you could have blamed your parents. Right now, you really have nobody to blame but yourself. So it's really guilt really takes a lot of energy. I'm telling you this as a Reiki master. The more you feel guilt, the more you're wasting your energy, and you're wasting your energy into illusionary kind of something. It's not even the person, it's not even the event. It's just an illusionary kind of feeling of guilt. And I want to tell you, the more feminine energy you have, the more you're open to feel guilt. And another thing I wanted to tell you, if you really want to destroy somebody, make them feel guilty about something. This really put the person like really. I mean, they will be just wasting their energy in an open loop for days, for months, sometimes for even years. All right, and I think a lot of people know that, and they do use it. All right. So how to get rid of guilt? We get here to basically to get rid. As I said, it's the journey of my life as well. I spent many years getting rid of guilt. I still do have it, like that, exactly what I said in October. I just was hanging in that guilt for like a couple of weeks. I didn't know how to solve the issue. I felt that I'm like I have to do something. And only when I really realized I don't need to do nothing, I'm by myself in this world, like this. I actually was able to jump out, not, but I did get a punishment that I was almost craving for. So guilt is something you will have to work all your life. Why? Because your whole maybe the first 20 years for sure you were basically controlled by others by putting guilt on you. And the more empathetic you were, the more it really affected you. So how to get rid? What I would suggest, the first thing what you need to do, you need to get a notebook. Like, remember when I was talking about the fears, I told you to write down all your fears. Now, the same to do with the guilt. Why? Because guilt is a very kind of, like I always say, guilt is a slow poison. You really don't notice it. It's you can spend the days and weeks and months in guilt and really not know that you have it. You just have this nagging kind of feeling, little nagging feeling that's bothering you, but you're not sure what it is. You see, um, like for example, very good example. I moved into this apartment just recently. I came back and I moved in. So it's like 2 months ago, right? And I met this wonderful person and this and this, and I promised to that we will do something with her. She's my new neighbor, and and that's it. And I haven't done it. So I didn't see her. I don't know where she lives, but I have this kind of negative feeling that I owe her like this. You see, this is a silly kind of guilt that is slowly sitting inside of me. Now, every time I catch it, I basically tell, she's living somewhere here. When I meet her, I will deal with this, like this. So guilt could be about something that you do. So, for example, you eat a croissant today and you're feeling guilty about this. The next day, you again feeling you eating croissant, and so this guilt is just staying and staying with you. You can live for years and years with this guilt, and it will slow you down for years and years. So you're basically just spending the energy that you can spend into your expansion, into that I ate a croissant 2 months ago and I feel guilty for it. You see? But that's why you need to write down everything. Write down every single guilt that you feel. Like just get yourself a small notebook and go with it, and that's just it. And go with it and just write down. Look, you see, guilt takes so much energy that my garnet bracelet broke while I'm talking to this. Just imagine, garnet is really a protector. All right, so that's okay. You need to write down all the guilt, even if it's something really small, something absolutely not important. Write down everything. Write down. You will see. You will be surprised how much in one day you probably will have. I don't know, like 50 things. If it's a pattern, you will be feeling guilty about everything. What you eat, what you drink, how many steps you made. Even if you went for a walk and had 8,000 steps, but 2,000 were not done, so you'll feel guilty for that. I mean, a person that is in a pattern of guilt will be feeling guilty at all times. So write down everything for now. Then what you need to do, you need to convert that guilt, all that guilt, into neutrality. For example, if you went out with the girls and you drank a little too much, yes, it's bad, but you don't go out with the girls every single time, and you probably had a really good time. I remember last time I got really drunk was in Cancun with my girlfriends. Yeah, it was really bad. I had such a hangover. I couldn't get up for like 3 days or so. But before that, we really had a really really good time, like really good time. So and that's it. After that, I never drank again. But I already was not a drinker. So what I want to say is that I brought it to neutrality. At that time, I felt very guilty. But if that would happen right now, what would I say to myself? Yeah, it was really bad to do, but we had a really amazing time. So I'm not even going to stress out over it. I made my choice. We had a really good time, and that's it. This is the price I pay for a really good time, and I don't mind to pay like this. You see, you need to bring to neutrality everything. Your inner child and inner parent. Remember, there was one video I was talking about something about either manifesting or shifting realities or something, and I said all your three roles has to be in harmony: your inner parent, your inner child, and your inner adult. So when your inner parent and inner adult are in harmony, so the inner child is like, oh, I feel bad, and your inner parents like, don't worry, you had good time, it's okay. You start moving forward. You don't spend energy and time fighting over here with your inner child. Yeah, I feel bad, and the inner parent, I told you so. Like this. Like instead of them bickering, they have to be in harmony. When you neutralize any kind of guilt situation, you will be fine. You will neutralizing just for now. So I cursed somebody out. Okay, how to neutralize, that's fine. At least I stood for myself. Maybe it wasn't the most gracious, but at least I didn't curse nobody out. I don't even use such thing, but still, as an example, right? Or I don't know what else could be. I stole somebody's donut. Yes, it's not a very good thing to do, but at least I had the delicious donut for breakfast. So something, I just don't know what could be the situation. If you have some kind of situations that are nagging you, you can write them and I will tell you how to neutralize them. So you need to bring your inner parent and your inner child to harmony, some kind of bring to neutrality. That's it for now, to neutrality. So something, somehow, like the guilt has to be justified somehow. Like if you need to make some kind of amends. So if you really really drink too much, you can decide that for the next couple of days we'll eat healthy to get rid of toxins. So we'll go for a run. That was my thing. Every time I had a night out, I would go for a run next day, so I would kind of feel a little better. Then what you need to do, so once you bring to neutrality, you have to start being your most devoted cheerleader. No matter what you have done, it's always right. Remember, you're by yourself in the hall of mirrors, basically, and you're just looking at yourself from different sides. Now, those mirrors will show you what you think about yourself. If you think you are the best, the mirrors will show you you are the best. So everybody will think you are the best. Look, I lived in New York for many years. I worked in finances. The people that work in finances are not always the nicest people. Very often they're selfish and they're very entitled and absolutely not nice. But for the most part, a lot of them were very successful. Why? Because they believed that this is how they should be. They actually were very proud of how they felt in their life. So you need to become the cheerleader. Remember, all those societal standards were engraved in you. It doesn't mean that they're right. Like in the society where I was brought up, the morning clothes, if somebody passed away, is black. But I found out that in the Middle East, for example, the morning clothes are white. So where is the guarantee that the societal standards that were ingrained in me are correct? Like my parents were teaching me that I'm supposed to be super independent, that I'm supposed to have a career and depend on myself, that I'm supposed to kind of to support myself in everything. But yet I have friends who are supported by their men. I know people from cultures where a woman is not even supposed to work. So where is the right wrong? So based on that, be your biggest cheerleader. Like, who told you that you could not curse somebody out? I mean, why not? You want to curse somebody out, curse somebody out. That person probably is in guilt too, so they are looking for punishment. You will give them the punishment that they craving so much. Okay, it doesn't sound too good, but what I want to say is that you need to become your most devoted cheerleader. If it's not you, then who? You see, your inner parent has to be so much on your side that you feel absolutely safe. You are not going to curse nobody. People who curse are usually very unhappy. These are the ones who very good question. These are people, the ones that are cursing are the ones that are not loved by everybody, that have a lot of guilt on them. They have so much guilt and rage that they basically just spitting them it out. You see. So you instead has to be you have to be like a cheerleader. Like, for example, you stole the donut from somebody, and then you ate the donut. Instead of you feeling guilt, you should feel like, good for me. Look, I stole the donut. I didn't get caught. I ate the whole donut, and like, it's amazing. It's just amazing how I was able to do that. You see, whatever it is, you always do right. Maybe you did a favor for the other person. Maybe the other person is really was planning to watch the figure, and now you ate the donut. You just, I mean, this is so bizarre. I just can't imagine. But for the most part, it's this is what it is. You have to become the biggest cheerleader. Why? Because when you are cheering for yourself, it's your inner parent that fully and completely accepts your inner child. If you have children, or if you ever saw small little children and they do something, they break the glass or something, are you going to really fight with them? No, you will probably say, oh, it's okay, just a glass, don't worry, as long as you didn't hurt yourself. You see. So you need to maybe you even tell, oh, that glass was not even good. You need to be the same with yourself. Don't wait it from others, do it from yourself. I'm telling you, I did it, and you will be able to do as well. Especially, well, I will get to that. All right, and over here I put, remember, guilt comes out from the societal perception, but it's not always it's all not always right. Look at the church. Church often promote being poor, yet the church is usually very wealthy. So right and wrong is just a perception. You see. I remember when I was little, everybody was talking about karma, 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 and then one day in New York, somebody told me, karma is to keep poor people in line, and in hopes, in line and hopes, and it really stuck with me because it is absolutely true. Like, there is really no karma. Karma comes when you karma is basically a place and family where you were born in. You need to overcome those limitations that are put on you by that particular society or family, and every society has them. I don't say, I was fortunately born in a Western society, so I didn't have that many limitations, but there are. So anyways, whatever you did, how are you going to be your best cheerleader? Whatever you did, imagine that your parent is praising you. If you want, imagine your inner parent. So imagine there is a little child and an inner parent, and the parent is like, basically, good job, you did good, don't worry, everything will be work. If it's hard for you, then imagine your real parents praising you. They don't really need to praise you, really, really. Imagine a phantom of your mom or your father, and they basically tell you, oh, Anastasia, you had a good time yesterday. It's okay that you're feeling that you're feeling a little hangover today. You had a good time, remember, or something. Or you stole the donut, and they're like, it's okay. You had a good donut. You had enough courage to grab the donut. The donut was for taking. So You need to. This is important. Why? Because when you were little, it was always outside party punishing you. So energetically, you're waiting for the outside party to do something, either praise you or punish you. You see, when I break the glass, I really, frankly, don't care about the glass, but I care about outside party's reaction on my action. So now I need to prove myself that the outside party is always approving of my actions, whatever I'm doing. That's why it's important to see outside. Like, it is truly your inner parent. But if it's hard for you to imagine inner parent, imagine your real parents, either your father, your mother, whoever was the strictest. And imagine how they basically say, in the beginning, you would not believe it. But with the practice, you will start believing, you will start learning how to, that it could be, that it's possible, you see? And you have this euphoria, this kind of, this burst of energy that would come out, and you will be like, my God, it's really happening. My mom is supporting me. I couldn't believe myself, like that. So you really need to, you don't need to explain yourself, but you don't need to explain yourself. So you basically need to accept that whatever you do is absolutely right. Like, for example, if you went to the market and you just accidentally push somebody, well, we don't really have markets here, so let's imagine you went to to the market and you accidentally push somebody, and that person got all upset and start shouting at you, and you start shouting back. If you will come home and you will start, well, yes, but she was shouting at me, so I had to shout back. You see, when you explaining yourself, you're defending yourself. This is not, don't do this. um, you need to just accept that whatever you do is right, because if you defend in yourself, it's like a ping pong, you just throwing the ball, it comes back. So you need to accept that everything was just done, instead of, oh, I could have been better, I could have been more graceful, I could have apologized. No, you don't need to do. You just basically need to um, you just basically need to accept that it was right. You could even laugh at it maybe, or something, or I don't know. But with that, you also need to make sure that your parent is also on the same page with you. So your parent probably say, oh, Anastasia, don't worry. No, it was almost comical. You made a little show for everybody to watch, so don't worry. It's you stood for yourself, something like that. So your inner parent, no matter the situation, has to be, even if your mom was always watching you, was always telling you to watch your figure, always was like very strict with your diet, and now you are eating croissants day and night, and it's hard for you to imagine your mom will tell you, it's okay. Imagine your mom say, listen, it's okay to eat sometimes croissants, it's not that bad. I mean, I was strict, but it doesn't mean that it's right, like that. Somebody outside has to justify, but it couldn't be just somebody random. It has to be somebody who put the wrong pattern in you. So it has to be parents, because usually this is the parents that put those patterns in you. Could be maybe your teachers or your grandparents. I don't know who you grew up with. So you need to imagine that person justifying it for you and basically telling you, look, it's amazing what you've done. Just like that. In that moment, your inner child and your inner parent will be in harmony, and you can continue developing. It will be behind you. You will see. You will neutralize the energy at once. Like, it will be completely out. When I start working with my guilt, as soon as I do something like that, as soon as I not justify, but as soon as my inner parent accepts it and tell me it's okay, it's like, that's it. There's no more guilt. It will come back a couple more times, but for the most part, I don't feel it. That um, that kind of pendulum of guilt is done. It's stopped already. It's not moving no longer. All right. So the next one is, you need to start observing yourself with people who are the closest. Usually we feel guilt with the people who are the closest to us. Why? Because they're somewhat important. And since childhood, we're used to be somewhat, maybe sometimes a disappointment to other people. And we're also used to, kind of earn the love. So especially if you were born in my generation, you know that the parents were not very emotional, were not very available, and you basically needed to kind of to prove yourself to them all the time. If you feel guilt around those people, then inside yourself you don't believe that you deserve unconditional love, and you're trying to serve, you're trying to act, you're trying to uh, prove to them that you are deserving of that love. So that you just need to work on self-love, but that shouldn't be coming. So once you support that whatever you're doing is right, this will not be even arising. But I know how it is with the closest people. This is like your family, maybe your partner. You feel like you love that person, so you're obligated to do something, and you're feeling guilt if you don't. You don't owe anything to nobody. You don't owe nothing to your parents, nothing to your partner. The only persons that you are owing something is maybe your child or your children under the age of 18. You owe them the roof and the food and the medical kind of. So you basically need to make sure that they are grown up enough to continue life on their own. That's it. Nobody else. You don't owe nothing to your parents, whatever you might think over there. You don't owe nothing to your siblings, definitely not to your partners. And that's just it. You just need to get it engraved in your head. You are not cooking for your partner because you have to. Don't feel guilty when you don't cook. It's absolutely not unnecessary. So again, if you feel like if you feel like you're feeling guilty around people that you love, the closest people to you, then you don't believe you deserve their love like that. That's a huge indicator, and you basically need to work on your self-love. That's already outside of guilt. But for the most part, a person who doesn't feel guilt will never feel like this. Like me, with my family, with my closest friends, with my partners, I never feel like that. I never feel guilt. I believe that I'm that amazing person. Everybody just loves me because I am. Yes, I do feel guilt sometimes with like some situations come up, or some strangers. Sometimes I think maybe they understood me wrong, or maybe this, or maybe that. But for the most part, it has nothing to do with my closest people. The closest people to me, they know me, so I already loved by them. Now, if this is not your case, then your self-love is very poor. That's something that you need to work on. Maybe I'll put a video on self-love here as well. Also, you need to do the meditation on heal your inner child. You see, your inner child needs to know that it's absolutely loved and accepted, so there will be less guilt. Um, the Here I also put here, the less you feel guilt, the less people that push on you guilt will be in your space. You will see they either will transform. Remember, you're in the hall of mirrors, so they either will transform into somebody who does not make you feel guilt, or they will just harmoniously dissolve themselves out from your space. Remember, we're surrounded by people that reflect our current needs. So if my current needs is that I need some punishment every single day, this is the kind of people I will have in my life. People that will kind of put that punishment on me. If I will believe that I absolutely deserve love and that's it and nothing else, I will start getting people that just want to love me just because I am this amazing me, like that. If you think that you won't be able to get rid of those people, you're mistaken. When I said getting rid of guilt, I completely changed my whole team at my previous career. My managers were all changed. I mean, from all this that were constantly putting me in this guilt trap, I got a completely different team, completely different management team. It was amazing. You see, all I had to do is just work with myself, get rid of guilt, and that's it. So you can do that as well. Now, if you think that guilt is only about the relationship with people, you will be mistaken. And here's the answer to your question, Marie. It's also the relationship with money, with success, or with anything else. Guilt really has no borders. You can, and if you feel guilt towards something or towards, you will procrastinate yourself, you will jeopardize your progress, you will even push away money. And I saw this from a couple of my clients that was somewhat successful, more successful than their peers, or maybe their friends or their family. and they would feel such a excessive guilt for that success of their own, that they will basically unknowingly push away the promotions, the money that were coming in. It happened even to me. Long time ago, I was promoted and I really get a really good raise, like really good. But my work colleagues, my friends at work, they were not, and they had the same kind of salary that were not as amazing as mine was. And I was supposed to get a really good bonus. And so our bonus was basically based on sales. So whatever the money and the sales that we were bringing in, and just before the closing date, like one day before, and I felt guilty already that I'm making so much money. One of my clients suddenly found like a really amazing property, and he withdrew a lot of his money, almost a few $1 million. And my bonus from a really amazing bonus went to almost nothing. You see how I pushed away my bonus. If he would do it 3 days after, it would not affect me. But because of that guilt that I had, he basically, that situation was created, and I was left with not a very good bonus. You see, and I see it often. I see it often, especially here in the United States. How do I see it? I see it from people that are immigrants that came, that are making out something out of themselves, but they feel extreme guilt to their families back home, and either they spending their whole life trying to prove something, or they're supporting them or something like that. Lucky for me, it was not me, thankfully. So, but this is what often happens. So you can push it away. You can push it away. You can push away money. You can push away success just by that, just by feeling guilt. You're creating the punishment. Or, for example, how it could be. Like also was my situation when I started making really good money. That whole year was like a really learning experience for me, because I was pushing away bonuses. I really couldn't push away my salary because it was predetermined. But I started getting a lot of people who were borrowing money, people that didn't know that I get a promotion. Like just random people that I knew, they suddenly needed some kind of help, some kind of to borrow money. They needed for me to co-sign on their loans or something like that. You see, I was that guilt was creating the punishment outside, and because the guilt was about money, the punishment was also money wise. If it's about relationship, like for example, you feel somewhat guilty about, I don't know what could be in a relationship. You feel that your man loves you more than you love him. You will get something. Um, you will get some kind of punishment outside. Maybe your mom will prefer your siblings over you or something. So there will be punishment similar to where you feel the guilt in. You see, like for example, if you curse somebody out on the market, probably the guilt will be somewhat similar. So um, somebody will somebody will be rude to you in your life right now, like that person that put 0 stars on my course. um, she basically, it was the same. The guilt that I felt was somewhat similar. And I didn't put nobody 0 stars, but I did put somebody's review, and it was not always, my reviews are always good about everybody and for everything. I don't really put, if I don't like something, I don't put. But in this case, I did put a review because I thought that other people that will be after me, they need to know about that, and I felt guilty. See, and so I get the same kind of punishment. The punishment was similar, even worse than what I did. So you will always get punishment similar to your guilt. Now, if you don't feel guilt, you would not get the punishment. If you think that your partner loves you more than you love him, good for him. He chooses it. He loves me because I'm just so amazing. That's it. No guilt in that. If you're making more money than all your friends, all your colleagues, then basically tell yourself, good that I'm making this much money. I will inspire them. They will want to progress as well. You see, no guilt. If you feel like you might that it would be much better if you would spend more time with your parents, instead of you feeling guilt that you're not spending time with them enough, maybe you can start feeling good that I don't spend enough. At least they have time to breathe and maybe make their own friends. Maybe like I don't know, maybe spend time whatever they're doing over there themselves. You see, no guilt. Otherwise, you will be punished in a similar way. And the last thing that I wanted to mention, it's like it's a giver and receiver. You remember how in the video stop over give and start receiving. I told you it's your choice whether to be a giver or to receiver. Really, really up to you. So here the same thing. It's up to you whether you're going to feel guilty or not. It's just the focus. Remember, it's a pattern, and you can break that pattern, like with everything. You see, I use my right hand to hold the glass because it's my dominant hand. But if I decide to break the pattern, I might hold the glass with my left hand. Yeah, it will ask me for some dedication. I will have to spend some time to get used to this. But I can learn this, and if it's important for me, I will learn it faster than I think. So the same with guilt. Remember, you can get rid of guilt. Staying in guilt will not do nothing for you, nothing at all whatsoever. You can only help others if you help yourself. So no more guilt. What if you buy something that is over your budget and you feel guilty? Then you need to watch the video. What was the video about? Just I was talking about the whole video about that. Um, what was the name? I will put it in the description of this one. So something about start feeling self-worth or something like that. So if you bought something over your budget and you feel guilty, you need to neutralize first. So how would you neutralize? Um, well, you bought. I mean, yeah, it's out of your budget, but it's an amazing thing. This is something that something maybe quality or something like this. So first, neutralize. Neutralize is something. Or for example, yes, I bought it. It's out of my budget, but if I put it on my credit card, I will make $100 payments every month. I will manage it. You neutralize the situation first. Then you need to become your cheerleader. So you need to just not justify, but you need to have another person important to you approve you. So for example, imagine your mom. If you don't have living parents, you can imagine them as phantoms. You don't have to, like, it doesn't matter whether they're live or not live, whether they're present here or not present. You remember they are in your mind. They put this pattern in you. Now you need to recreate them. So basically, imagine your mom or your dad, whoever was kind of strict with money, and your mom is suddenly, let's imagine it's your mom, and she says, "Oh my God, so good that you're spoiling yourself. Finally, how long were you going to be waiting for this?" And you're like shocked. My mom said this is impossible. She was always like save money, but you see, this is the thing. The phantom of your mom right now broke the pattern in you for the first time, then a couple more times in the pattern. And what will happen? Probably you will get either, I don't know how you get your money, but maybe you will get an unexpected job, or maybe at work there will be some kind of bonus, or maybe somebody else will gift you. Like me, one time I really, really wanted a bag, and that bag was out of my budget a little bit. And I bought the bag. I decided not to feel guilty. I was preparing myself mentally for this. I kind of, calculated the expenses and everything. And I bought the bag. I was happy with the bag, but a little, that there was like a little uneasy feeling. And I went on a date with the guy I knew. He was my admirer. And I told him, I said, my bag, my new bag and everything. He's like, "Oh, it's really nice, this and that." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's a little out of my comfort zone, but I really wanted this and that." And he's like, "Let me help you with that." And he added some money to it, not full, but he did. You see, so this would happen. Why? Because I didn't feel guilt. And that's what it is. So once you're not feeling guilt, the situation will turn out somehow in your favor. I don't say that you will get something completely free, probably not, but there will be a way that will somehow normalize it. You see, and the more you will do it, the more you expand yourself. So that's also a good thing. All right. Any more questions? No guilt though. Don't feel guilt. Whatever. Buy whatever you want, and no guilt. I'm like so strict with no guilt policy. All right. Ask questions if you do have. Please do send this video to people that are suffering with guilt, and I know a lot of those people. Thankfully, not too many of them are in my surroundings any longer. And let me just sum it up. So guilt is a slow poison, just like sugar. I mean, no, I shouldn't be so hard on sugar, but you know how it is. All right. So guilt is a slow poison. It was used to control you when you were a child, to protect you, but it became a pattern. And like a month ago, I saw on TikTok there was this trend. There were like two parents sitting and a child, and one of them, so the child would have two cookies. A mom would have one, and the father would have none, or a mom would have none, and the father had two, one only. And they basically expected the child to give that cookie, and it was a trend. So there were a lot of them, and I always was looking at the kid, and the kid was like, couldn't understand why is this game played. And then the mom would start crying that the kid didn't give the cookie, and it was like I felt so hurt for the child, because they're basically, I'm sure it's a joke, but if this is a real life, they're basically growing a slave, a person that will be always in the power of guilt. You see, that child will never be free, honestly. Always will be looking around. Does everybody has enough cookies, before I will start eating mine? So they would not start crying once I'm enjoying my cookies, like this. It's not good. It's really not good. So, but again, it's a slow process like this. Little by little, little by little, you become enslaved to this feeling that is in your mind. It's not even real. You see, not real. You can choose to feel excitement instead. I mean, we choose to feel guilt for no reason, again, because our parents long time ago said something like that, and we took it as a truth, because parents are our gods. I mean, we didn't know anything better at that moment. So it started, how does it work? It started in childhood. You do something, your parents punish you somehow, not necessarily physical punishment, could be emotional punishment. And so it was always a closed loop. You do something, you get punished. Now, right now, you're grown up, you live separately, you live by yourself in your apartment, and there is nobody who can punish you. So you basically guilting yourself, punishing, because you get used to it. Or if you could not punish yourself, you guilting yourself and then waiting for the punishment to happen. Because you spend your whole childhood in this pattern, you basically continue living like this. Instead of you progressing, doing something amazing with your life, benefiting the society around you, you continue living as when you lived with your parents, you see? And especially if you have a lot of Saturn in your natal chart, then you just doomed to be to fight the guilt your whole life. And you will be able to do this, because usually those people are seriously resilient. All right, so because you used to have punishment from the outside, that's what happens now. As soon as you feel guilt, you're waiting for the punishment outside. It never comes from inside of you. Punishment is always outside. So you feel like you should share your resources, somebody will steal from you, or you feel steal your donut. You feel like you should spend more time with your parents. Here your mom is calling, you never come and visit us, like this. You see, the punishment always comes from the outside, because there is guilt inside that you're feeling right now. It's a waste of energy, obviously. So you need to get rid of the guilt and change this pattern. Again, it's a pattern. You see, drinking water like this or drinking water like this, it's my choice and my pattern. You can change it. You have that power and a lot of energy. So the first thing you would need to do, you need to get some kind of notebook and just write down all your guilts throughout the day. You will be surprised how much you have in you. Honestly, surprised. It's crazy. When I was writing, I had almost like 120, 130 situations a day, like anything, anything. To the point that I could have woken up 10 minutes earlier, like this. Now I'm feeling guilty the whole day because I didn't wake up 10 minutes earlier. It was crazy, so write down everything. Then the most you won't be able to convert everything to neutrality at once, because there's a lot of them, just like fears. Convert to neutrality the most important ones, the most draining ones, the ones that take in the most energy from you. Convert to neutrality. So the two neutrality is basically something that will bring that will stop the guilt. So I bought something super expensive well, at least I have the item that I wanted, like this, so something. So it has to be neutral, not positive, just neutral. Don't go into positivity yet. So then what you need to do, you need to become your most devoted cheerleader. You need to make sure that your inner parent is supporting what you're doing. Guilt is just a societal perception, and it could be easily changed. Who knows? Right now, if society decides that stealing somebody's donuts is a norm, then we will start stealing, and we will not feel guilty about it anyhow. So it's only whatever the society decides, what is right or wrong. There's no really right or wrong. In the world of energy, there is no right or wrong. Now, you need to, because you're waiting for the punishment outside, now you need to undo it somehow. So you need to get a praise from the outside, from somebody who is important. For example, your parents. So if you don't spend enough time with your parents, instead of you expecting your mom to call any minute and say, "Look at you, you never call, you never come." Instead, imagine the phantom of your mom, and she's saying something like, "This is the weekend. Why not to spend time with yourself? Spend time dedicated to yourself. I'm good like this, something." So you need approval of that important person in your life. If it was your grandmother that was putting guilt on you, imagine the phantom of your grandmother. Imagine it has to be a person of authority, not your manager though. Those are people of authority, but they are not the ones who put the pattern in you. The patterns are usually somebody in your childhood, usually parents or somebody who was close to you. Maybe your older siblings. I'm the oldest, so I don't know. Maybe I put guilt into my brother and sister. I have no clue. So if I did, if my sister is listening to me, then I could be the person of authority for her. My brother doesn't listen to my videos. He's um, so anyways, it could be somebody like that. If you're the youngest child, it could be your eldest siblings, the siblings that you were basically looking up to. They could have put guilt on you, and that person has to say, "Good job, you're doing everything perfect. Don't worry." That person has to praise your inner child. It's not really them, it's your inner parent that does it, but it's hard to imagine inner parent, inner child, inside of you. I can, but some people cannot. So it's better if you will imagine somebody who was in your life, like another person. And then you need to observe yourself around people that you love. If you feel guilty with those people, like the closest people in your life. Just a second. Then you don't believe that you deserve their love. You believe that you need to earn their love. You believe that you need to act. Self-love. You need to work on self-love for that in that situation. Usually, you could not feel guilt with people that closest to you. You could not. That's not right. Absolutely. Those people are people that know you really. They accept you. If you feel like that, then self-love is not there. Um, the less you will feel guilt, the faster you will see how your society will change. You will see how people will stop blaming you and start really supporting you. You will see how people that were kind of punishers in your life, they will start slowly disappearing. Like I had a friend, and she had this husband of hers, an obnoxious person. I mean, I couldn't stand him. But anyways, he was like my outside punisher. Every time I felt guilt, he would just reappear somehow and blurt something out or say something stupid or do something stupid. Like it was always. I was like almost afraid to hang out with her because I knew that her husband could say something. And then once I stopped feeling guilt, I would kind of I distanced myself from them. And the times that I was meeting with her, I haven't seen her husband in years, really, many years. So that's what it is. You see, so like that, you will see that your society will start changing little by little. Now, it's remember that guilt is not only relationship with people. It's very often could be relationship with money, with success, with love. If you're feeling guilty about any of those, depending on your soul purpose, you see, depending on what your development is. For some people, it could be about money. For example, if you have a lot of Sagittarius placements, you're ruled by Jupiter, so you kind of luck in life. You go through life, and everything is kind of easy for you. And I know that Sagittarius, even though they are light and everything, they do often, not often, but frequently feel guilty. It grounds them a little bit, the guilt, but still, it's not good. So if you have a lot of Sagittarius placements, you might have this guilt with money, with resources. And when you feel guilt, you feel like you need to support others. You need like you're doing something for others. So that's not good. Remember, when you feel guilt in a particular area, that's where you will get the punishment. You see. So if it's money, you will get punished with money. If you feel guilt about traveling too much, like, oh my God, this was my also, will tell you, in when it was COVID in 2020, I traveled a lot because I was mm, my position was discontinued, so I was conveniently let go, and I couldn't really look for a job at that time, and I didn't know what to do yet, so I was traveling. And I always traveled, but I never traveled this much. And at one point, I remember where it was. It was in Dubai. I was with Helena, and she was sleeping, and I couldn't sleep because I was jet lagged, right? And I was staying outside on the balcony. I was looking at the beautiful view of the Palm Jumeirah, and I was staying with the tea. I even have a picture for that, and I wanted to put that view on the Instagram. And at that time, I felt very guilty. I felt so guilty that I am traveling so much, and I have friends who didn't go nowhere that year. This is what happened. The next 3 years, I didn't go nowhere. You see, I got the punishment. My guilt was so strong that I got the punishment. As soon as I came back to Miami, then I didn't go nowhere for 3 years. Only like short trips in United States. That's it. Who did I? Who was it beneficial for? For me? For who? Like, for nobody. It stopped my kind of development. It stopped my exploring the world. Did it help anybody? No. Did my friends feel better because I didn't travel? No, they didn't. They actually were inspired because I traveled so much during that time that they started traveling more. So you see, I stopped myself from traveling, and it didn't benefit anybody. Now, when I was traveling, I was benefiting others. So that's how it is. Guilt is a nasty kind of fear. Get rid of it. And the last one is basically your choice to be a giver or to be in guilt or not to be in guilt. Up to you. Decide, and basically it's a pattern you can change. It's not easy to change, but it's absolutely possible to change. I got rid of pretty much everything, and I'm very empathetic. But there is only maybe a few situations that still come up into my mind sometimes. For the most part, I have no guilt left, and my life is just so different because of that. Just fully different, completely different. And I will tell you, the most successful people I met, they had not an ounce of guilt, nothing whatsoever. They don't feel guilty at all. The most self-absorbed people I could ever meet, and the most successful, you see. And at that time, I felt like, they're successful because they're just lucky, or they're successful because they're so selfish, or they're successful because they just, they don't think about others. No, they're successful because they don't have guilt. Because while I'm drowning here in guilt and pushing away my bonuses, they're not pushing away their kind of the money that comes into their life. They embrace the money. They believe they can take, and then they can benefit. They do a lot of charity work. They, as self-absorbed as they are, those people actually do benefit the society a lot. And and that's what happens. Instead of me pushing the money away, I could have just took them, and if I'm feeling so generous, implemented in society somehow. So it's up to you. I hope I motivated you to get rid of guilt. Guilt usually, the deepest one is with the family. Um, get rid of it. You are not helping your family by feeling guilty. You are not family. You are not helping anybody. You're just hanging in guilt. You're basically um, you're robbing yourself of something great, and you're robbing your family as well. So stop with that. Stop with guilt. Get rid of it. Do all the steps that I told you. At the beginning, I was doing that too. I had a lot of guilt, and at one point, I was almost like I was lost. I couldn't believe that I could get rid of guilt. And the funny thing is that my parents were never like such a strict parents, but it just because they were not very emotional, I always thought maybe I'm doing something wrong. Maybe but society was very strict. I was born in a small village. So, anyways, so when I was writing all those lists and lists of guilt, I mean, I didn't know how to get rid of them. Lucky for me, I had mentors, so they were able to. They were like, "You will be able to. You will see little by little. You will start getting rid of small ones. The bigger ones will get easier." And lucky for me, I was able to get rid of them. I could not allow anything to stop my progress no more. It's like a heavy stones. It's like you're walking and you're dragging these stones behind you all the time. I mean, how long can you do that? Like while you're young, you still can tolerate it a little bit, but with time, your energy is depleting and you're wasting it on bigger and bigger stones and more guilt in you. And it just at one point, it has to stop. Otherwise, you will always have a reason to feel guilt and the punishment that comes with it. So if you're done with that, if you're done with dragging stones behind you, if you do want to progress, especially now, I hope a lot of you are quantum jumping with me. I hope you're shifting your reality. Do get rid of guilt. If you have guilt, shifting the reality will be very difficult because guilt will always hold you in the present where the guilt is present. So if you want to become filthy rich and you live like a really obnoxious, really luxurious lifestyle, but yet you're feeling guilty when you go and buy yourself a $7 coffee, or you feel like you bought yourself a new dress and maybe your friends couldn't afford to buy toilet paper. I mean, seriously, how are you going to shift the reality if you're pushing money away? You basically you will never be able to become super wealthy if you're feeling guilt for the new dress, instead of feeling that, oh my god, I bought myself another new dress and my friends could not afford something. Feel that I will inspire my friends to better off their material kind of situation and move on, like me. I work with you, right? So I don't really have like a job right now, so and haven't had it in a while. And you will be surprised. At first I felt the guilt. I felt guilt. Like I was always thinking, maybe I'm supposed to be, maybe I should be like everybody else. What makes me so different? I don't have too many friends that are freelancers or any of those nomads or anybody who like this. Most of my friends are working people, or these days married people. So women that are married and husbands taking care of them. And I felt a little guilt like that. But you see, as soon as I get rid of guilt and I decided, okay, this is my choice, my life. Yeah, I choose how to live. I choose how to make money. I choose how to feel comfortable in my life. A lot of my friends started also doing something on the side. You see, I motivated them to start looking outside their box. So don't ever feel guilt. Feel that you by freeing yourself from guilt, you also free your friends, your parents, your kids, your partners, whoever else. You see, like that. If you are in a committed relationship and your partner doesn't want you to spend more money, and now but you do want to spend money, instead of feeling guilt for spending the money, think that I will motivate my significant other to do better, or to maybe find a new job or something like that, so he will progress as well, like that. Remember, guilt is not benefiting nobody. If you think that you feeling sorry that you don't spend enough time with your parents benefits your parents, no, it doesn't. They feel the energetic pressure. You feel energetic pressure. You go see them. Everybody hates each other. Your parents feeling like there is no lightness. You feel like, when can I leave? And it's uncomfortable. It's a waste of energy on both sides. So no guilt. No guilt. How many times do I need to repeat no guilt? With my clients, this is most of the time that I do. No guilt, and that's it. Do whatever you want. Remember, guilt inside creates punishment outside. You don't want to get punished, no guilt. All right, that's it. Enough If you don't have questions, we're going to finish. I will see you on Wednesday at 6 p.m. We're going to discuss women energy of earth. These are the last ones. So I already did women energy of fire, water, air, and women energy of earth, feminine women as well. We're going to talk about how they can become feminine. So if you have a lot of placements in Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo, this life will be for you. Or if you know anybody who has this, please do. These women do have difficulties being feminine, even though they're born feminine, because they're very grounded. So we're going to talk about that. And next Saturday, we'll see. I have a couple couple ideas. Well, not ideas. I have already a couple. I just didn't know which one. So I will see you on Saturday, on Wednesday at 6 p.m. Bye TikTok. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you for being here. Oh, I didn't even look. Maybe there was okay. Maybe there was some questions. All right. YouTube, thank you very much for being here with me. I hope you enjoyed your time. Please do get rid of guilt. If you have any questions, do ask. But this is important. If you want to progress in life, if you want to develop, and I'm not talking about femininity, masculinity, this is for anybody. Guilt has to go. Don't allow anybody to put guilt on you, and definitely don't put any on yourself. This is actually something that I should have mentioned. If somebody is trying to push guilt on you, usually this is because you're feeling inside. So you stole somebody's donut, and you're feeling guilty inside. If that person will find out that you stole the donut, they probably will start blaming you on everything. But that's because you're feeling guilt. Now, if you wouldn't feel guilt, that other person will say, "Good that you stole it. You know, I shouldn't even be eating it. I'm watching my figure anyways," or something like that. So if somebody is guilting you, then you feeling guilt. Just tell them, "Thank you very much. Thank you for showing me. Let me get rid of guilt, and I will get back to you," like that. Always. So guilt, no good, no good. Get rid of it ASAP. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed. Send me your questions. Send me your ideas for the new lives, and I will see you all on Wednesday at 6 p.m. If you know anybody who is drowning in guilt, send them this video. Bye, everybody. Enjoy your weekend.